his candidate for the December polls after chaotic rerun, which ended inconclusive. A statement issued by the MP says the exit is in the interest of the party. According to her, quote, "I have decided that in the interest of the greater good of the new patriotic party and peace and unity in the Waliwali constituency, I will no longer be a candidate for MP in the 2024 elections. I am therefore formally withdrawing from the contest. I would like to thank the party for the honor done me in representing my constituency over the last 4 years and can assure the party of my continued support in the 2024 election campaign." That's according to the MP for Waliwali, Lariba Zuwira Abudu, who has withdrawn.
Meanwhile, the governing New Patriotic Party is meeting on Tuesday to decide the next line of action with less than 3 days to close off nomination. Emmanuel Samani has more.
Tensions erupted during the collation of votes, putting the party's plans at risk as a Friday deadline looms. The incident has thrown the Walla Walla constituency into uncertainty, with party supporters anxiously waiting for clarity. The MPP has just 2 days to resolve the issue and file the nomination of a parliamentary candidate. The decision made at Wednesday's National Executive Committee meeting will determine whether the party can meet the Electoral Commission's strict deadline. Justin Frimpong-Kodia is the General Secretary of the party.
I want to assure you, the media and good people of Ghana, that the New Patriotic Party will take a firm decision tomorrow at our next meeting. I also want to use this opportunity to commend the Ghana Police Service for their swift intervention in ensuring law and order at Waliwali.
With the clock ticking, the MPP's ability to navigate this critical moment will be pivotal, not only for the Walla Walla constituency, but also for its broader election strategy. All eyes are on Wednesday's decision as the deadline draws near. Meanwhile, the party says it will be rolling out ID cards for their members.
Due to the increasing popularity of the MPP and the bold solutions being championed by our presidential candidate, more Ghanaians are expressing interest in joining the New Patriotic Party. In view of the high demand for the party card, the national leadership of the party resolved to decentralize the issuance of the party cards at the constituency and regional levels.
Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra.
Away from the NPP, an exercise to acclaim the flag bearer of the National Democratic Party, NDP, turned dramatic as two groups presented themselves as flag bearers and running mates. The party is accusing the flag bearer-elect, Nanase Mensah Bonsu, of having dual nationality, but he refuses to budge.
A congress composed of delegates assembled at the headquarters of the National Democratic Party to witness the acclamation of the party's flag bearer by the Electoral Commission. However, two persons availed themselves as flag bearers. Alhaj Mohamed Frimpong, the General Secretary of the NDP, and the running mate to the flag bearer-elect, Nanase Mensah Bonsu, are now ruffling feathers. In April this year, Nanase Mensah Bonsu was elected by the party's Congress as flag bearer. On Tuesday, September 10, 2024, another conference was held to acclaim Nanase Mensah Bonsu by the Electoral Commission, but the flag bearer was shocked to the marrow after he was told that he was not going to be allowed to file his nomination with the EC as the leader of the NDP. He is being accused of possessing dual citizenship, Ghana and Canadian passports.
At the vetting, it came up strongly that he had dual nationality, Canadian, Ghanaian. And he assured us that he was going to get everything right. So we gave him the benefit of the doubt. Finally, today, Nana was to have proven beyond any reasonable doubt of the matter that he didn't. But he kept on saying that, democratically, he wants to file so that anybody who wants to challenge him should bring proof that he's a Canadian citizen. And then we said that we will not take that risk.
An allegation he disputed.
It's neither here nor there. Nana Osei Mensah Bonsu is not a Canadian. Nana Osei Mensah Bonsu is a Ghanaian. And Nana Osei Mensah Bonsu does not owe allegiance to any other country other than Ghana. So my problem with them is that they don't have the capacity to tell me I'm not qualified as a party. The High Court has ruled in 2016, Zeneta versus the NDC, that the political party does not have the right to disqualify anybody. It's the EC that has the right to disqualify. And I'm not ineligible, I'm qualified to contest.
The party has nominated the General Secretary, Alhaj Mohamed Frimpong, as flag bearer, and Christiana Collingwood Williams as running mate. Eventually, the Electoral Commission did not show up for the acclamation. Nana Osei Mensah Bonsu insists on filing his nomination with the EC on Wednesday, September 11, 2024. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Accra.
A reminder, you're still watching News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. Now, NPP Vice Presidential nominee Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh says the party will allow small-scale mining to thrive if it retains power in December. This declaration comes in the wake of key labor unions demanding a ban on all forms of small-scale mining.
The last 2 weeks have seen spirited public discussions on the need for an end to illegal mining. This was as a result of the Ghana Water Company expressing frustration with its difficulty in treating polluted water for public consumption. The University Teachers Association of Ghana is demanding an outright ban on all kinds of small-scale mining, or the government risk a strike after September 30 should no action be taken. Other labor groups have also joined calls for some government action. The NPP's Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh says small-scale miners will be allowed to do the work. We will not shoot anyone. We will give everyone's excavator to them. You will be allowed to work on your concession. This will ensure that people in the town can fend for themselves. It is not true that Dr. Bahamia will allow small-scale mining. What we are against is mining on water bodies. Everyone will get some work to do. Everyone will be able to provide for themselves. It remains to be seen what steps government will be taking to respond to the renewed calls to deal with illegal mining.
Let's stay a while longer on this developing subject. Let's bring in security consultant Dr. Victor Doke. Thank you, sir, for your time. First, what is your own analysis of why the fight against small-scale mining, or if you like illegal mining by government, has not been successful?
Thank you very much. We are all aware of the investment, financial investment that was made, by the president himself, and then the manpower, the resources, the equipment that was invested in this fight against Calabsay. However, why it has not yielded positive results is because of interferences. I mean, the reasons are multifaceted. One, interferences from political figures that are behind the scenes that benefit from this menace, People just don't want to see the right thing done, Now, when you talk about this menace itself has now become a national security threat, When you have people who are dedicated to fight against the ills of society, and then you have some politicians, businessmen who are cronies to people in power, fighting against the very wrong things, fighting against people who are fighting hard
to see that things work out for the good of the people, then we have a problem on our hands. The issue stems from the fact that the whole operation, the objective, the aim was not properly sought out, was not properly rolled out. Otherwise, we would have seen from the hierarchy itself the committed effort, and I use the word committed effort, okay, to deal with anybody that stands in the way of the bodies mandated to fight Galamsey. That didn't happen. There were allegations of persons who were engaged in this menace, but there was nothing done.
But to be fair, the Nanado government, in its very first term, with Peter Mewu as Lands and Natural Resources Minister, did in fact do a lot to stem the tide in illegal mining. We saw them do a lot, didn't we?
Now, if you say you do a lot, you have to look at the content. What did you actually do? To what extent? Okay? And we are looking at continuity. You start a process, you have to be able to continue to stem out the rot in the system. Otherwise, you go back to the same problem and then you are reinvesting into it. Okay? Resources that could be used elsewhere is being used to fight the same menace that we are unable to climb out. And that is the issue. Now, we have to holistically attack this issue. Whatever be the case, as it says now, any politician that goes on a platform and promises the people that this issue will not sort of like be tackled head on, I think we need to be fair and call out those who are doing this big harm to this nation. This is not right. When eminent kings and chiefs are calling that this menace should stop, and then we have political figures go on platform to make promises for political scores, then I think we are in a big problem.
But there's nothing really wrong with small-scale mining, is there?
There's nothing wrong with small-scale mining. We are talking about the illegal activities, right?
And what I heard, the vice presidential running mate nominee, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, say is that they are not going to stop small-scale mining. That's what I hear him say.
Very true. Now, when you have a crisis such as this, with water bodies contaminated, okay, you don't have a headway, you don't have a national markup plan to tackle Galamsey, then it is best you go to the drawing board. If you put a stop to the activities, you look at the bigger picture, small-scale mining, you're not saying you're stopping it entirely. Pause the process for a while and look at how best you can put in mechanisms, okay, streamline, get to know those who have...
But that decision has to be made from the very top. That decision has to be made from the president. And so until that decision has been made, nothing bars Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh from telling his people that they're going to continue with small-scale mining.
That is what I was saying, that we need a committed effort. Now, you can have eminent chiefs who are calling for this ill to stop, and then you have the politicians on the other hand doing what seems, okay, in their books right. That is a slap in the face for these eminent chiefs. Then what are we looking at? Okay, now, so the call should be that everybody now should be engaged, okay, in propagating, right? We are calling for this menace to stop. The chiefs, the CSOs, religious bodies, which have started, we need to echo more of it. Otherwise, what will happen is you have funds from states, government, going into water treatment through Ghana Water. It will just be recycling the problem without tackling what actually is causing this menace right now.
Right,
So
thank you very much. I think your point is well made, Dr. Victor Goke. Thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate your time here on News 360.
Still on the Galamsey menace, the Ghana Integrity Initiative has admonished the political class to crack the whip on persons engaged in illegal mining. Its executive director, Mary Ada, on the sidelines of a climate change conference in Accra, says the lack of a sanction is a contributory factor for which people engage in the activity with impunity.
Civil society organizations, some labor groups and other individuals have called for a ban on small-scale and illegal mining in the country to save the country's water bodies. The Ghana Integrity Initiative's Executive Director Mary Ada says the problem has to do with the lack of political will and sanctions.
It is an issue of lack of knowledge, but it is also an issue of lack of compliance and sanctioning, and the fact that corruption continues to breed some of these behaviors. It is an issue of lack of political will. If our politicians or those we have given power to, according to the Constitution in Article 1, which says that the power resides in the citizen, and for whom we have given that power to a president to lead us, if the president so wishes, this fight would be an exhaustive one.
Despite several calls for government to declare state of emergency in Galamsey-prone areas, the President Nana Akufo-Addo is yet to comment on the menace. Meanwhile, stakeholders at a climate launch and inception meeting stressed the need for grassroots participation on issues of climate change for better formulation of policies.
I will want to see how we pick the issues right from the grassroots level and then bring it up at the district level. Then it can then be taken up at the national level. What we are rather saying is that the discussion is rather coming from the Accra level, and then it is pushed down to the district and say, go and do this, go and do that. When in actual fact, it might not be their felt need or their context-wise, it's not what they need.
Mary Ada also wants complex issues on climate change to be made simple and address corruption-related issues in the sector.
GII is particularly interested in engaging citizens across specific districts to ensure that we identify these gaps, the corruption risk factors, the gaps that hinder or hamper the engagement of citizens in this climate discourse.
Climate change has become one of the most urgent challenges negatively impacting communities, and environmental experts have called for the need to collectively fight against the menace. Safo Abuahine, TV3 News, Accra.
And to some depressing news. More than 500 suicide attempts are said to have been made in the last 6 months, with 81 deaths recorded. Experts have described the trend as disturbing, calling for urgent measures to put the situation under control. My colleague Gabor and Paa reports.
Age 16, Joseph Osafo found himself consumed by a sense of hopelessness. Battling a chronic disease for over a year, he began to believe that death would offer him the escape he sought. The thought of suicide became a very real consideration.
I was taken to every hospital. There was no cure. And then the doctor who attended to me, maybe he was also expressing his own frustration, told me, "Young man, do you believe in God?" I said, "Yes." "All right, then go and pray, otherwise you will die in 14 days.
In the darkest moments, Joseph almost gave up, but at age 17, something shifted. He fought through his thoughts and overcame the temptation to end his life.
I had thoughts, how about if I end my own life? You know, when you have thoughts, what of course is ideation, the next important dangerous thing that should come your way is when you have plans. I had a lot of help around me. My parents were around, my dad was praying for me, my mom was around. If you have such a thought and your stresses that you're going through, you don't have means of managing those stresses, then these thoughts are going to materialize in giving you strength to look for access to means.
Now at 57, Professor Joseph Osafo is not only a clinical psychologist, but also a suicidologist, a man devoted to saving others from the hole he once stood on the edge of. In Ghana, the rise in attempted and completed suicides is alarming. In the first half of 2024, 543 attempts and 81 deaths were recorded, higher than the total for 2023. Many of those affected are young people, like Joseph once was.
In Ghana, about 81 lives have been lost to suicide, with more than 500 attempted suicides in the first half of this year alone. This statistic is alarming, when compared to the total recorded for the entire year of 2023. That stood at 48 completed suicides and 594 suicide attempts. So you can see the numbers are increasing.
Joseph reflects on his journey and believes that Ghana, like many other countries, still has much work to do in tackling mental health as a national issue.
Most schools don't have counselors in their schools. How do we prevent suicide and mental health challenges if we haven't put all of this in place? So governments have done well, but there's still more room for improvement.
As the world observes Suicide Prevention Day, he emphasizes the importance of having open conversations about mental health and suicide. For the Ghana Mental Health Authority, speaking about suicide does not suggest or encourage the act. Instead, it saves lives. They urges everyone to break the silence, support those in pain, and change the narrative on suicide in Ghana. As the theme, Changing the Narrative, calls for open conversations about mental health, the urgency to break the stigma and prevent more lives from being lost has never been more critical. Godwin Asidiba, TV3 News.
Let's return to our earlier story about the MP for Walewale, Lareba Zuwira Abudu, withdrawing from the race. We now hear from the MP herself explaining the decision to withdraw.
Following the inconclusive of yesterday's premise or rerun, now the EC was not able to declare a winner. So based on that, I've decided that I want to step down and will not go contest the seat again. I'm doing this for the sake of the greater New Patriotic Party and Walewale constituency. I'm doing this for the sake of unity, peace, love for the constituency.
In other news tonight, former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kwesi Asare, is proposing a treasonable charge on election officials who commit electoral offences with the aim of tampering with the will of the people. He said such professional persons know the consequences of their actions and must not be allowed to go scot-free. Dr. Farijan was speaking at the ongoing Ghana Bar Association conference in Kumasi.
In less than 90 days, eligible voters will decide on who becomes the next president of Ghana and those to form the 9th parliament. The stakes are high among the contesting political parties, with campaign activities being intensified across the country. There appears to be a growing mistrust by some opposition parties, with allegations of attempt to subvert the will of the people. But the Electoral Commission keeps assuring Ghanaians of conducting a fair, transparent and credible elections. Ahead of the December 7 election, former chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kodjoa Farijan, says electoral officials caught in their attempt to tamper with the electoral process must be handed stiffer punishment.
Persons who commit serious election offenses, particularly if they are professional election officials or electronic experts, must be severely punished for attempting to undermine the will of the people. Possibly a treasonable act, because they know exactly what they are doing.
Addressing members of the Ghana Bar Association, the election administrator also advised political parties to be vigilant at polling stations to prevent any anomaly.
The pin sheets are the most important, the only source documents for reconstructing election results. See, that's what we mean when we say elections are won or lost at the polling station. That's what it means.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Yabu-Adame, is hopeful the Electoral Commission will deliver to the satisfaction of Ghanaians in the upcoming elections.
We must resist the vain efforts of naysayers who constantly sow seeds of doubt about the credibility of Ghanaian elections. The Electoral Commission has had a sound appreciation of the sacred constitutional responsibility it bears to the people since 1992.
President Akufo-Addo tasked stakeholders in the electoral process to pledge to uphold integrity for a successful election.
When elections are conducted fairly and transparently, the results accepted are accepted by all, even generally by the losers. This broad acceptance is essential for peace, stability, and the continued progress of the nation. The Akufo-Addo government, on its part, will do everything within its power to ensure that the upcoming elections are conducted in an environment of peace, fairness, and transparency.
Reminder, so watching News 360, we're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we've got the very latest in the world of business.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here. Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has two of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally. Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries, easy. Winning, easy, Charlie. But you know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water, then sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy, made easy. As I be street footballer, Gary at the top. Now we attend Starboy. Still Gary at the top. I travel go abroad. Kibo Gary at the top. Kibo Gary, he the bio. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, Soft Care always stays with you.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Live in a community where your neighbors become family. And where family is love that awaits you on a daily basis. And where friendships bind us together in communal spirit. This is Eden Heights, a well-planned paradise with ready-to-move-in apartments and penthouses located behind the West Hills Mall, where living is a lifestyle. So, whatever your style, Eden Heights is the perfect place to live. For purchase or rental, call +233 50 153 1444 or +233 50 153 1445. Eden Heights, the height of modern living.
Do you know someone who's making a difference in your community? Someone whose selfless actions and dedication to helping others deserves recognition? Then it's time to celebrate these incredible individuals on MTN Heroes of Change.
It's time to nominate those selfless individuals to win 100,000 Ghana cedis and other cash prizes and be crowned MTN Hero of Change. You can also nominate a blogger or someone in the digital space and any of the media houses to win our new category of Digital Hero and Media Hero of Change. Just fill an online nomination form at mtn.com @mphac.gov.gh or send a WhatsApp with a 1-minute video of your nominee's project on 055 141 1122. Deadline for nominations is 18th October 2024, so don't waste time. Nominate your hero now.
MTN Heroes of Change. Be the change you wish to see.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
West Hills Ridge Property, Eden Heights.
It's now time for business news, and Michael is already here. Michael, peasant farmers concerned about illegal mining.
Exactly, and they fear that it may hamper food security in the country beyond our generation.
All right.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has warned that illegal mining known as galamsey could have long-lasting transgenerational effects on the country's food security if not urgently addressed. The association reports that over 1.2 million hectares of farmlands have already been destroyed by the activities of illegal miners. Illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey, has remained a pressing issue in recent times, largely due to its destructive impact on the nation's water bodies. Concerns are mounting about a potential water shortage as pollution continues to take its toll. However, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is raising even graver concerns.
If you do not have a complete and total ban, and this is pervasive, then I'm certain, and we are very certain, and our farmers are complaining, that this will result in severe and generational food crisis. Because this will not only affect our current generation, but will transcend to future generations. Because eventually, all the farmlands that we have will be destroyed. So we can't even have adequate farmlands to plant. All the water bodies that we rely on will be destroyed. We can't have even good water to water our crops.
The association is calling for urgent and decisive action, stressing that drastic measures are needed to prevent the country from facing a severe crisis.
The challenge that we are foreseeing is not only about this generation, but to transcend to next and future generations. So that's why we support the calls by all groups that immediately the government should put a ban on all forms of small-scale mining until at least we are able to restore the farmlands for our production. And until then, that we also have a national consensus to agree on what we want to do with small-scale mining. We support all calls for a complete ban on mining if we want to take our food security and our nutrition security very seriously.
Now, the founder of Collapse UT Bank has expressed his belief that it was economically unsound to use $6 billion in the banking sector cleanup and then subsequently seek a $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. Speaking on Business Focus, Prince Amwabeng emphasized that the collapse of indigenous companies can act as a disincentive for entrepreneurship.
It's a story of an indigenous company started from the basic, because we were just about 4 of us at Cantamanto with 1 table, no curtains and all that, and we grew it transparently. Everybody saw UT year on, year out, with our financials being published, up to the point where we even became a bank, and we went outside Nigeria, South Africa, Germany at some point. How many times do we create such local giants or brands that when we create one, we kill it without thinking about the cost, without investigation, without consulting the team, the directors or management or shareholders, and they just kill it. And take the financial sector. Their figure is that they use 25 billion to sanitize, for the lack of a better word, the financial sector. And then that was about $6 billion at the time, dollars. Soon after that, a year or 2 after that, you rush to IMF to borrow $3 billion under critical terms, and they hold you by the balls for $3 billion, and you threw away $6 billion just 2 years prior to that. What kind of judgment is it? It doesn't make sense to me. If you look at even UT alone, and I don't want to talk about it, but the government uses $2.2 billion to collapse UT. And the UT was owing the government about 800 million. Assuming they took the whole 2.2 billion and said, take it as a loan and pay over some time, it would have made a better sense.
Now, Access Bank, in partnership with Rana Motors and Horseman Shoes, has launched a Sandal More for a Better Tomorrow initiative at Kroll Cluster of Schools at Nongwa. The project aims to provide 1 million shoes made from used car tires to underprivileged students nationwide.
The A Sandal More for a Better Tomorrow initiative seeks to keep beneficiary students in school, promote proper disposal of used car tires, and create job opportunities for approximately 500 local shoemakers through Horseman Shoes.
In a broad sense, it's really impacting on us environmentally, economically, and socially. Apart from what the ministry is doing through awareness creation, this is also one way of supporting government efforts to reduce carbon footprints of companies.
According to Manish Puri, zonal manager of Rana Motors, the project's benefits extend beyond environmental sustainability.
Sustainability and environment protection is deep-rooted in us, but when we discuss about this project, this is much more beyond that, because it includes health, it includes education, it includes the foundation of the brighter Ghana. Then it also has, by planting tree, it also like creating some natural environment protection as well.
For Access Bank, this initiative aligns with their commitment to inspire life now and in the future by driving sustainable economic growth that is not only profitable but also environmentally responsible and socially relevant.
The long-term goal for us is to touch about 1 million school children with this free school sandal. That's why we have the collective partners like the Rana Motors who keep giving us logistic support and also car tires, used car tires from their value chain. And that's why we're also supporting or working together with Horseman Shoes, who is a premier local shoemaker in Ghana, working with the network of shoemakers to keep providing jobs for these people. And the more sandals we produce, the more jobs that will be created.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
Prophecy time.
Abraham and Sarah, Mubanya twins. Go and buy jackets. We are going to Canada. The best outboard waba. Master, what the card do? You go to jail. Born a wow. What you need? Because of my pa. Business is bread, school fees, chop money. Funeral bills, suppliers, in-laws. Side chicks. Oh yes, I book count. Oh how na spiritual. For bills. Bills micro credit. You see why? Bills micro credit. From Mbebwa. Ati. Kwanako from. Next.
Everyone is running to Bills. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with acquiring any of our loan facilities. For whoever you are and whatever you're doing, Bills has a product for you. No susu, no deposits. All you need is your Ghana card. Bills, financing your needs.
Hello, Bills.
Hey, gee. My head really aches. Feeling cold and feverish.
Sorry. I know the solution to your problem. It is Procode.
Procode? I bought some 3 days ago, but I'm not seeing any improvement. You can even have a look.
Let me look at it. This is fake. Let's go to the drugstore. Please, we want Procode. No, not this.
Oh, but this does the same work, and it's even far cheaper.
No, we insist you give us Procode from Kojak. I don't understand why people give this fake Procode. And where they don't give the fake one, then they give you a similar one with a different name and tell you it works the same. But it is not so. The only Procode we know is from Kojak. If it's not Procode from Kojak, then we won't accept it.
Wow. So this is the original Procode. It has the logo and Kojak boldly written on it.
Yes, for quick and effective relief from headache, flu, nasal congestion and other feverish conditions, insist on Procode from Kojak.
Procode, K-O-J-A-C-H. Procode.
This advert is FDA approved.
This September, just like we've been doing for the past 7 years, welcome to the much-anticipated Telecel SME Month. This year, we're upping the game with even more incredible initiatives and activities for small and medium-scale enterprises with a touch for women-led businesses under the theme, Connecting Businesses, Connecting the Woman in Business. From the launch of a loyalty plan for businesses, the launch of Telecel Women in Business package, the Empire She Built webinar, Women 100 Power launch, and an opportunity to positively impact the environment through sustainable ESG initiatives. 50% cashback for merchants, free advertisement for customers, and so much more. So get ready to discover what's next in the world of business. This Telecel SME Month. Visit telecel.com.gh/business. Keep following our pages for more information on this year's celebration.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Fakakra. Na ye bebre. Fakakra yang kwani stew. Dodwa ope.
Tasty Tom dear. It will surely give you value for money. Steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup. And it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix into. Me handwriting and sada. Into customers bar never.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. This advert is FDA approved.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again. He's having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Watch all the Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A games on DSTV Compact for only 300 cedis a month.
Time now for the very latest in the world of sports. My brother, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm great, Paa Kwesi. Nice seeing you.
What do you have coming up for us in sports?
Well, there's a lot about the AFCON qualifiers, Nigeria drawing and South Africa winning it very late, but issues of the Black Stars too.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Good evening. It's time for sports here on News 360. My name is Kelvin Osuanta. Let's start from the senior national team, the Black Stars, and they have displayed some defensive problems this year and are at a complicated position with Kwesi Appiah Sudan waiting in October. Here is a look at Ghana's woes with some numbers.
It has been an international break to forget for Ghana's Black Stars. The team picked up 1 point from a possible 6 and could now need 4 straight wins to avoid missing out on the Nations Cup for the first time since 2004. One team standing in Ghana's way is Sudan, led by a man who captained the team and later coached the Black Stars at the 2014 World Cup and multiple AFCON tournaments, James Kwesi Appiah. Appiah has Sudan believing again after he took charge of the team. They have lost just once in 6 games and are looking good as they chase potential World Cup and Nations Cup qualification. In October, Appiah and his Sudan side could kill off Ghana's qualifying hopes completely over 2 games.
It will be difficult again. I knew from front, it's just some little margins, little details which can decide. And this will be again, for us, it will be a crucial match. We have to win. There's no way around that. We have to win. If we want to have the chance to play better with AFCON, we have to win. We are under pressure. This is for sure, and we have to do better and not allowing to achieve goals. And yeah, like I said, I'm disappointed. We didn't learn the lessons from the first game. Now, the set piece, we all back. We need to defend this better. This is for sure, and for them, like I said, I'm really disappointed. But surely it's still in our own hands, so we can do something about it, but we have to win this game.
Otuado will be under huge pressure to deliver, but he has a huge problem to solve. Since the start of the year, the Black Stars have conceded 16 goals in 10 matches, averaging more than a goal conceded a game. 6 of these games have been under Otto. And even more striking is the period they let the goals in. 8 of those goals have been conceded in the second half, highlighting the team's defensive frailties at the latter stages of games. It is obvious when his technical team work to do.
Black Stars need to for the remaining 4 games, but there were other fixtures that came up today in the AFCON 2025 qualifiers. South Sudan suffered a 3-2 loss to South Africa at home. In the late finish, Egypt scored 4 against Botswana, and then Gabon defeated Central African Republic by 2-0. Zimbabwe settled for a goalless draw against Cameroon, and Kenya traveled to beat Namibia 2-1. Algeria with a 3-0 victory over Liberia, and Mali defeating Eswatini by 1-0. Now to some local transfer news, and earlier today at the Johan Cruyff Stadium, Ghanaian teenage sensation Abdulaziz Issa and David Odro were officially unveiled as new Barca Athletic players. Aziz Issa joins the club on loan from Dreams FC, whilst David Odro joins Barcelona from the reverse team of Accra Lions. He had a bright start last season, and the pair, along with other signing from Mali, Ivan Cedric, toured La Masier's facilities while basking in their new kit for the very first time. The duo become the first players to transition directly from the Ghana Premier League to FC Barcelona, despite beginning from the youth ranks. That will be all for sports here on News 360. There is more sports news on 3news.com and 3sportsgh across all the socials. Entertainment news comes up next.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters and correspondents in every nook and cranny across the country.
All the action, every incident reported. All the big stories covered.
All facts cross-checked. Every figure verified.
Every vote monitored and accounted for.
The numbers tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
We have invested time and energy in order to bring you a comprehensive elections coverage.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results. In a world where every moment counts, one team stands ready to deliver the news that shapes our lives. A team driven by truth, integrity, and unwavering dedication. They travel to the front lines in the tireless pursuit of truth to bring you the world stories like never before. Get ready to witness the stories that matter. We have the most trusted voices in journalism who are committed to delivering accurate, balanced, and thought-provoking news. TV3, first in news.
This is Hot Issues, your passport to the most compelling conversations of our time. We go one-on-one with the movers and shakers, the thought leaders, and the game changers. We ask the questions that matter, and we don't back down. Tonight on Hot Issues, I sit with the man at the Center of Corruption Investigations. Join me on Hot Issues here on TV3.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
The electoral The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbits for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Oh, turn it up!
Come into the mountains. Sight and I grandpa.
It's time to drive you home in style with great music
the 411 and all your favorite stars, what's happening around town, and so much more.
And in the headlines today, the two leading political parties have been addressing the public on allegations of corruption. The Black Stars coach has unveiled his squad for the upcoming games, and there are some interesting names. Pull up! The weekend is here and it's time to turn up. Get your dancing shoes on, Lego. We really do have it all. It's a premium mix of information and entertainment every single day on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
Entertainment news segment is powered by 3 Entertainment.
Time now for the latest in the world of entertainment. What was Richie saying in my ears? It's our technical director, actually. He's full of troubles.
It's been a while.
Mira, where have you been?
I've been around. You don't look for me.
You know, I was asking about your perfume. It smells really good. What's the name of the perfume?
Paa Kwesi, you want us to do this here? Well, I'll tell you much later.
What do you have coming on?
All right, so ACP Kwesi Asare is in the news, and so he has a new fashion line. Maybe Paa Kwesi will be interested in that, and so he needs to pay some attention right here. Well, my name is Anita Ekia Ekufu, and iconic Ghanaian gospel musician ACP Kwesi Asare is making headlines with a bold new venture into the fashion industry, adding a fresh dimension to his already illustrious career. Asare joins a growing roster of Ghanaian celebrities who are turning their creativity towards fashion alongside names like designer Elikem Kumoji the tailor and Kofi Oshodako with his clothing line.
Since bursting onto the gospel scene in 2010 with the critically acclaimed album Sacrifice, ACP Kwesi Asare has been a force to be reckoned with. With a keen eye for style and a love for bold fashion statements, Kwesi Asare has been a muse for local designers who have created stunning custom pieces for him over the years.
I wear what comes to mind to wear in a particular day. So I don't deliberately sit down to decide what to wear. But if sometimes I'll be seated and it comes to mind that, oh, if you put this and that together, you will have this. And I do it and it goes well.
Now, the iconic Ghanaian gospel artist is making headlines again as he ventures into the fashion industry.
For me, I'm very adventurous. I want to explore, and so that is it. And it's upon advice, and people always tell me that you need to do this. It has come over and over again over the years, and so I decided to give it a try. But I know that God's hand is in it, and so what people have yearned from me over the years is what I have given them.
His new line, Kosap Collections, is set to shake up the Ghanaian fashion world, bringing his signature style and influence to the forefront.
Well, congratulations going out to ACP Kwesi Asare, and that brings us to the end of the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Anita. Coming up, international news.
The former boyfriend of Ugandan Olympic athlete Rebecca, who killed her by setting her on fire, has himself died from burns sustained in the attack. Dixon Ndima ambushed the marathon runner as she returned home from church more than a week ago. He then doused her with petrol and set her ablaze. Local administrators said the two had been in conflict over a small piece of land in northwest Kenya where Rebecca lived and trained. Ndema died on Monday night at the ICU, where, according to the hospital, had been admitted with burns on more than 40% of his body. Rebecca died last Thursday, 4 days after she was attacked. She suffered burns to more than 80% of her body. More than 1,700 prisoners have been released early in England and Wales as part of a government scheme to ease overcrowding in prisons. One freed prisoner said conditions in prison cells were terrible, with inmates exposed to loads of violence. But not all victims of crime were made aware of the offenders' early release dates. The The Victims Commissioner for England and Wales said, warning that some victims may not have had the opportunity to seek protective measures. The government said offenders jailed for violence offences with sentences of at least 4 years, sex offenders and domestic abusers were not eligible for early release. The race to Election Day in November is on. Former Presidents Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will have their first face-to-face encounter tonight as they take the debate stage in Philadelphia. Early voting will also get underway in September. North Carolina was supposed to be the first state to send mail-in ballots on September 6, but a dispute over whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can remove his name from the ballot has caused a delay. Kennedy has suspended his independent presidential bid in August and endorsed Trump. Other states begin sending mail-in ballots late in the month. Voters in most of the country have the option of requesting a mail-in ballot, and voters in 8 of those states and Washington, D.C. will get a mail-in ballot automatically. The other states require an excuse for mail-in ballots. October begins with a vice presidential debate between Vance and Walz, hosted by CBS.
Right, before we go tonight, I encourage you to just look on your screens right now. What do you see? What I see is a QR code. What you have to do is to kindly pick your smartphone and scan that code, and it will take you to our exclusive WhatsApp channel for 3 News. And that's where you find everything news from us here on TV3, from our news code cards to videos and details of events as they